romance scam. She never heard of it. I never heard of Smooth Operator Ways. Why didn't I see right through this dude? How did I not see this? I'm Jenifer Lewis. How you gonna fraud me? That was pissing her off even more. Slap, throw down with a girl about her man. It's her story, her life, her journey, and she gonna tell it. This ain't what you want because she gonna give it to you, the real, the raw. She don't hold back. She don't pull back. She didn't give a. I'm not gonna repeat it. I'm not gonna repeat it. She got attitude. Let's talk about the second book that I read in January, which was also a great book. This book was hilarious. It was inspirational. It was everything I needed at the time. I'm going to talk a little bit about the takeaways that I had. It also is an audiobook read by the author, which I already told you. I love that because no one is going to tell a story better than the author. This particular book called Walking in My Joy in These Streets. That is the correct title. This book that Jenifer Lewis wrote is about 7 hours, 27 minutes. I did it in one day. I just could not stop it. It was that good. It was amazing. Funny. She is hilarious. She talks about where she got her first start, the American Black Film Festival, and what she went through, trials and tribulations and the struggles. And it was quite interesting. She had several relationships and they just didn't work out. She talked about being an independent woman and what it meant and why she just never really connected with, a partner. You can judge her for the way she lived her life all you want. She didn't give a. She didn't. And she says it in the book several times. If you a little, how should I say, innocent to that type of language, you don't want to get this book. This ain't what you want. This ain't what you want because she gonna give it to you, the real, the raw. It's her story, her life, her journey, and she gonna tell it the way she see fit. I appreciated that. I really did. To hear some of the stories that she tells, she candid. Listen, she don't hold back. She don't pull back. She say exactly what she was feeling, and every now and then she'll pull back and say she was joking, but then she say she wasn't. So you don't really know if it was real or not. Well, not the actual story, just her reaction to some of the stories. Basically about her struggles in her career, Black artists in the entertainment business. We have struggles. I don't know how else you want to describe it, but it ain't all cake and ice creams like many of them make it seem. There are struggles. They have to go through so much to get to where they are, to get those accolades, those awards. There's a story. She definitely has one in this book. This is not her only book, but it's the only one that I've read, and I absolutely love it. It's sad at times, but in a way that is in terms of what went down. That's what I mean when I say there's sadness. It's her personal journey. We're going to talk about it. But it's one chapter that I guess I kind of stayed on. It don't even tell me what chapter this was. It doesn't break it down like the 50 book, but that's okay. I'll tell you the name. I only have one chapter. That say a lot about me. Don't believe everything here, though. Don't believe everything here. It's called Digmatized. I'm not going to repeat it. I'm not going to repeat it. I'm going to put it up here because you heard me. That is what I said. And she's very explicit about how she breaks it down. Like the 50 book. If you don't believe me when I tell you the book is good, go to this chapter and read a couple of the paragraphs. Decide for yourself if you're going to get the book or not. But that would be a good place to start. My takeaways from what I got, because it was really, really good. She never really found her soulmate. However, she did meet this gentleman. I think his name was Tony. He was finally starting to feel that connection of love, and they were a team. She collaborated and invested in several businesses that he had. She showed them off to her friends, and everybody was genuinely happy, and loving for her. One of her best girlfriends had come to live with her just temporarily when she lived in California. Tony told Jenifer that Joyce had come on to him. Now, I was quite shocked at the way she handled this because most of us, me included, I don't know if I could have been that calm, I guess is a good word. She did say that she was mad. Oh, she was pissed. And she was going to try to persuade Joyce to leave because she did not want to ruin the friendship. She's known Joyce all of her life. They were like sisters. She didn't want to ruin their relationship having a throwdown, a slap, slap, throwdown with a girl about her man. But Tony made it very clear that Joyce tried to persuade him to sleep with her while Jenifer was at work. She was hot, she was angry, but her way of trying to hold on to the friendship was just to get her out of her house, get her set up somewhere else, and just not, she wasn't going to mention it. When she went to have the conversation with Joyce, Joyce had gotten a gig, I think somewhere in Santa Monica. So she moved closer to the gig. Jenifer was happy about that. She wished her well. They kept their friendship intact. So it was all good. She got that because I've been through something similar and I ain't handle it that good. We don't even talk about how I handled it, but it wasn't like that. That was pretty, woman of her to be able to do that. Her other girlfriends, she'd have these spa days and they just loved the fact that she was in love and she was invested so much in Tony because they had never seen that because for years she just wasn't really, she had a lot of relationships but they just wasn't working out and she was just like letting them go, and I don't blame her because ain't nobody got time to be wasting on people that just don't want to do the right thing. One of her girlfriends, I think her name was Brenda, just kind of felt that Jenifer wasn't herself. She kind of felt that Tony was consuming too much of her time. And I will say this, you got to watch the girlfriends, but at the same time, you got to listen to them. Nobody know you better than your girl. And if they really your girl, they going to have your back. They are going to know when something ain't right. If you have that good relationship with your girlfriend and you trust her, you got to be open to what's being said. If Jenifer was okay with Joyce, I'm saying not to say she was okay, because she wasn't okay with it, but if she could handle it like that, then I know she could handle what Brenda was saying. And Brenda was just saying that, you don't come around as much, you don't do this, you don't do that. The typical things that girlfriends say when they notice that there's a difference. They got past that. Jenifer just heard her out, listened to her. Honey, that next day, Brenda went to the internet, good old social media. She found so much stuff on this dude, a fraud. Fraud across the top of the headline and his picture. She went to Jenifer. She just could not believe it because here I am, the Black mother of Hollywood. I'm Jenifer Lewis. How you gonna fraud me? How did I not see it? Like, what was going on with me so bad that I didn't see it? As time went on, it started to sink in even more. And finally, she did get him out of her house. But while she was going through her anger and grief of that relationship breaking down, she gets news that her mother passed away. She talks a lot about her mother and how her mother that was her friend. That was her best friend. That was her homie. They were very close. Even though this guy was a fraud, she invested a lot of time, money, $100,000 to be exact, and just herself into this dude. So of course she had love for him. She never saw it coming, basically. And she was going through it for a while. So this was crazy. This chapter spoke to me because the pain, the grief, all that she was going through and feeling, I was feeling because I had been through something similar. So I could resonate with how she was feeling, and I felt so bad. At the same time, I felt like, wow, you know, I know those emotions. I've had those emotions. He, in turn, was a master manipulator. He had been doing this since he was 15 years old. He was a sociopath. He had a pattern that she couldn't see it when she was in it. But you know how it is when we're in relationships. We can't see what's going on. But the moment we get out of it, we be like, oh, yeah, that's why he did that. And now I understand why. It's just everything started clicking. That was pissing her off even more because in her mind, she's like, how did I not see this coming? Like, no warning, no nothing. She was questioning herself. Why? Not just how, why? Why did I not see him coming? So she even talks about it happening on September the 11th, 2015, which is crazy because September 11th, that's 911. Wasn't that particular year, but 911, emergency, baby. Now she understood. Joyce really do what he said? Because a master manipulator, they need to get everybody out of the way that's close. And remember, Joyce was living at the house. He couldn't do with Joyce being there. So he had to move Joyce out. Thinking about it, I'm so glad she didn't tarnish her relationship with her friend. You just never know how something's going to go. Try to bow out gracefully because you just never know how things are going to go. It's a prime example. Do I do it? No. Have I done it? Not all the time. Not in all cases, but this guy wasn't playing checkers. He came to play chess. She talked about how he was playing solitaire, because he was moving quietly in through her life, taking everything. She had trust set up for his children. She was going to break up with him because he was always there and it was too much for her. Remember, she's an actress and that in itself is a lot. Always being on set, the hours, the long days or whatever. And he just always wanted to be there. He planted himself in her life. Every moment she got to be alone, he planted himself there. So she was never alone enough to really think about what was going on. And that is what Brenda was picking up. Thank God for the Brendas out there. She didn't break up with him. She did, but he kind his way back. But she talked about how when she told him that she needed a break, this was just too much and she couldn't deal with it right now. She had a lot going on. She said she felt a sense of relief, like a weight had lifted off of her. For me, I'm taking it as a universe, as a sign of yes, yes. But she didn't listen. She went right back into it because he conned his way into believing they didn't need to break up, that he didn't want to lose her. He played on her emotions. Oh my God. I mean, when you think about it, it's like, wow. She was angry. She wanted to get revenge. She went down to the police station, tried to file fraud charges against this guy, gave all the information. They told her she had no case because every check that she signed over to him down in that little memo line, she put as a gift. Yes, 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 yes. The officer called this a romance scam. She never heard of it. I never heard of it. But listen, baby, y'all better be careful. They ask you for money. That's the number one sign. Do not, under any circumstances, give anybody any money. I remember meeting someone online many, many years ago in the early internet days. One of them little dating sites. And a week after getting to know him, wanted me to send him $100 so that he could get these books for his kid for school. Listen, I ain't see that it was a red flag then, but I'm an Aquarian. If you know anything about Aquarians, we don't just be giving up our money like that. But we are kind-hearted. We are kind-hearted people. Anyway, yeah, it's happened to me. And they do use their children. And apparently, Jenifer was saying how he used his children. He's been doing it since he was 15. She was like, he been doing this just as long as I've been acting. So she said in her book, I thought it was funny, she said, he was just as good at his job as I was at mine. I was just like, wow, but that's true. That's a long time. He's perfected the craft. He knew what to do, when to do it, how to do it. He researched everything about her life, her career, her vulnerabilities, and played on each and every one of them. Crazy. She felt drained. She felt depleted. She was done. You know, her mother had passed away. Now they're telling her she can't do anything about it. She had to accept her role. And the only way she could accept her role and everything that played out with this man, she had to put herself back in therapy to help her through the process, because that, on top of her mom dying, it was a lot. It was just too much. He didn't get caught until 4 years later. She tried to get a restraining order against him. You know, it got denied. Like, how? He had already deceived 13 other people, women, I'm assuming, out of $4.3 million. And they wouldn't give her a restraining order? Whatever. 4 years later, he did end up getting caught, but not by her. When she was denied the restraining order, she used her voice. GMA, FBI, IRS, she contacted everybody. She sent pictures. She told them of her experience with him, gave his name, everything, talked about how he's been doing it for 15 years, how he's kind these other 13 other people. She put it out there. She used her voice to put him on blast. He may have gotten away with it with her, but he was not going to get away with it with another. 4 years later, he got caught, not by her, but by her putting her voice out there. She had hired a private investigator since the police wasn't really going to do anything. And the private investigator, I guess, followed him around. So when he got hooked up to his next victims, which there were three more. Can you believe that? Even after everything he did with Jenifer Lewis and her put him on blast, he managed to do it to 3 more women. However, that third one, she heard one of the interviews that Jenifer had given to the media and reached out to the private investigator, agreed to wear a wire. They brought him down. The judge wanted to only give him 4 years, but Jenifer said, no. How he played on the emotions and used his children, she got it doubled to 8. For me, the whole book was good. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed the entire book. This chapter here, this one, it resonated with me because I had been through something similar. I think we all have been through something similar where we've just been taken advantage of by someone, and the pain and the anguish that you feel. An actress making all this money, an A-lister, and she could not escape being taken advantage of and defrauded. And even when she tried to do something about it, her hands were tied. I felt that was a very good book. You definitely should pick this up and read this. It just was funny. Her expressions, the way she explained things was just, it was really good. So let's go on to book number 3. What was book number 3?
My next review, Bamboozled by Jesus, How God Tricked Me into Living the Life of My Dreams, written by Yvonne Orji. You remember her. Insecure,